10 years later, Americans across the country remember the nearly 3,000 killed on the worst terrorist attack on American soil. It will forever be remembered as a day of infamy, a day that changed America forever.
10 years later, as they said, we still don't understand everything. So really it's a vivid memory of mine sitting in third grade and hearing about this.
In honor of the 10th anniversary, the museum provided the public with free admission and unveiled new 9/11 exhibits.
9/11 is a time for us to reflect on the people who serve our country and America in general, and to think about who we are as a nation and where we want to go with the future, and to think about where we've come from and what we've been through.
Here on American University's campus, some 450 students came out together on the steps of K Spiritual Center for a candlelight vigil in honor of the nearly 3,000 men, women, and children who lost their lives on September 11th.
I think it did bring a sense of nationalism to our country and restore a friendship between people, because everyone had to bond together in order to get through it, and it definitely improved kind of a brotherhood for the nation.
Only brother, when you need a hand, we all need somebody to lean on.
The single most defining moment of our generation. I mean, every year, it's a huge deal to us. It happened at the peak of our emotional development, which means that it became a huge part of our lives, a huge part of how we see things.
We've come a long way from those sad and scary days 10 years ago. But today, September 11th, 2011, we came back together in unity as one America to remember how far we've come. For ATV News, I'm Anthony Martinez in front of K Spiritual Center. Peaceful protest on their campus. On Friday, November 18th, these protests turned violent when police began spraying chemical substances into the faces of students. Video of the incident has gone viral, with many expressing shame at the university administration and law enforcement. Corey Jacobs, a junior at UC Davis, joins us now from Davis, California. Corey, thank you for joining us. This all began on Tuesday when students at UC Davis decided to protest in solidarity with UC Berkeley over the high cost of tuition. Can you talk about how this all began on Tuesday?
Yes, so on Tuesday there was a
Coming up on District Wired News, the controversy surrounding the resignation of former CIA Director David Petraeus and who will succeed him. I'm Anthony Martinez. We begin today with the director of the CIA, David Petraeus, has resigned after acknowledging his involvement in an extramarital affair last week. The FBI first learned of the affair between Petraeus and his biographer, Paula Broadwell, after she allegedly sent harassing emails to another woman. Since then, the FBI conducted an investigation examining if the affair threatened national security or was merely scandalous. They ultimately found no security issues linked to the affair. Members of Congress are questioning why they were not informed sooner about the investigation. Petraeus was scheduled to testify before Congress on Thursday about the September 11th attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Thank you, Micah. Nearly 2 weeks after Superstorm Sandy, the Northeast is still recovering from one of the most destructive natural disasters to hit the region. The death toll has reached 121, and thousands are still in temporary housing. Mandatory gas rationing has gone into effect in hard-hit states like New York and New Jersey. In the spirit of service, organizers have asked spectators of New York's annual Veterans Day Parade to bring winter coats to donate to storm victims. The parade is the city's first major post-Sandy event. President Barack Obama is scheduled to visit New York City on Thursday to see the recovery firsthand. Tika Me Elmo has a whole new disturbing meaning today. Kevin Clash, the official voice behind the beloved red fuzzy Muppet on Sesame Street, has been accused of having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old boy. The boy, now 33 years old, claims they began a sexual relationship 7 years ago, when the boy was just 16 and Clash was 45. Clash has admitted to having a relationship with the young man, but insists it took place after the accuser was an adult. Clash, who has voiced Elmo since the 1980s, is currently on a leave of absence in order to, quote, protect his reputation. Welcome back to District Wired News. It was an eventful weekend in the world of sports, and Christine Schieffer is here to tell us all about it. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Anthony. You're right, it sure was an eventful weekend.
The rule that's currently in place that you have to be at least 25 feet away isn't enforced. So how are they going to enforce a campus-wide ban? That's one.
I agree. I don't know how they're going to enforce
the reasoning for a dry campus is so that it can not encourage drinking, binge drinking, underage drinking. Well, I don't know if you know, but drinking still occurs on campus. Binge drinking still occurs. Underage drinking still occurs. So it didn't work for drinking. I don't think it's going to work for smoking.
So yeah, that is interesting. I could see that.
As the guy, I would say what happens is you feel bad. You're like, look, I'm not feeling well. Your bro is like, all right, let's go to the bar. We go to the bar. We talk about it for a little bit, drink, get over it, move on. So I think that's what happens with guys. But nevertheless, something that makes you genuinely happy, is a story that spread around the world. It spread across the internet like wildfire. A New York City police officer was kneeling next to a homeless man that had no shoes on. It's a picture that was seen around the world. The cop brought Jeremy Hillman a pair of Skechers boots in a nearby store, but on Sunday, Hillman was roaming the streets of New York City once again without shoes. Hillman told the New York Times he had hidden the shoes because they were worth a lot of money, and he was afraid of losing his life. Here's a good story that started with a police officer doing a good thing for something we see too often, and now this update is just, it tells you about the environment they live in, and that the fact that he has these shoes and he has to hide them because he's afraid it may cause him his life.
Yeah, I mean,